Hey guys, and welcome to the Global Podcast. My name's Haruki, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of global conflict. We're a Battlefield community that plays on PC every Saturday and Tuesdays, usually. And you can visit us at global-conflict.org to find out more about us. With me today, we have Starfisher Echo.
Hey guys, it's Starfisher.
There we
I'm
go.
the head TA for
Cheesy.
this campaign.
Hey guys.
Shrapnel.
Hey everyone.
Robert Willis.
Evening all.
Matsif.
Hi.
And Insanity Rocks.
Hello everyone.
We have a couple of announcements to make. The first of which is the officer draft results, which took place this weekend. Our donation system, our EA server test, which we just did a couple of hours ago, and it was fantastic. And the format of the campaign, which will be taking place in a couple of weeks. So, first of all, looking at the chat, it looks like Fields is sick and out for the moment. So, let's all hope that he gets better soon. He's usually doing the hosting for the podcast, and he's a fun guy. So, let's hope he gets better. Anyway, let's get a start on our announcements, and we're gonna have Cheesy talk about the officer draft results. Cheesy?
So Shrap and I and our HCs had a super duper uber secret meeting yesterday where we went through all of the awesome submissions for the officer draft and picked a handful of guys for each side. First thing I want to say is that anyone who is not picked so far is still in the draft. You guys will all just be assigned when we do the real draft in a few weeks. For the officer draft, we just took a handful of people for each of our sides to start filling out our initial officer corps on both sides. Anything else you want to say, Shrap?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Righty then. So I'll read off mine, and then Shrap can cover who he got. So I will have Private Stoney, who is not a private. He's an ex-general and pothead. Von Krieg, Expandas, Bach, Snookfingers, Haruki, Kidbags, Joker, Undertow, and Captain Carp. And he's not an ex-pothead. He was smoking today in TeamSpeak. Your turn, Shrap.
Okay, and I drafted Octurus, Roka, Jades, Matsif, Danwan Mall, Insanity Rocks, Fisherman, Gardelup, and Solmertig.
Cool. So you want to talk about a little bit about the roles that each of these players are going to be taking, or you want to keep that confidential till the campaign starts?
I'm keeping it confidential for now.
Ooh, Mr.
Yeah, me
Sear.
too.
Gotcha. Totally understandable. So we're going to have Insanity Rocks discuss the donation system that really keeps our community running. We are 100% reliant on, the donations given to us by the community members. Without the community members, we would have a very, very hard time keeping the servers running. And so this is something to kind of get our donations, give them a little boost. So Insanity Rocks, you want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, Haruki, I'm going to try. As most people know or may not, or the supporting members may know, is that Brumi is the guy that handles the books for us. And I'd like to have a shout out to him. While I invited him, he was unable to make yesterday and today's podcast because he had eye surgery on Friday. So get better, Brumi. But he supplied me with some interesting information. And so far, like Haruki said, we survive on donations and we welcome all levels. It looks like our average donation since Battlefield 3 2 years ago is at $38.20 per donation. And he also shared with me that for the most part, there hasn't been like a hard what's the word I'm looking for? Push for donations. They come in regular intervals, a nice steady stream. And there was only like a week or two in December that we went into the red. I would like to also make a special shout out to Rob, since he's here with us tonight. There was a time when we needed a third server in Europe, and Rob was kind enough to step up to the plate and provide that for us. So thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
No problem, guys.
Love you, Rob.
You're all right, Rob.
And so part of donating, not only are you helping out GC, but it also allows you to, well, how do I say this? Everyone has a voice in global conflict, and there's been a little bit of controversy around this subject of late, and I will not belabor the point. Donations get you into supporting members group, where we talk about the sort of the community at large, but that's not the only way you get in. There are lots of folks that help out in this community, help it make it better, and you guys, while not easily recognizable as donations, people out there are seeing your hard work, and we're not perfect, but raise your hand and we'll get you in.
Yeah, and a lot of the he's talking about the supporting members, and one way to get into that group is by donations, but another way is to volunteer your time and make GC a better place, just like Insanity was talking about. And so for those of you who can't make the donation somehow because of whatever reasons with PayPal and whatnot, just volunteer your time and prove yourself to be a dedicated member, and it's something that we can get you into, and see all the secret stuff and whatnot. Well, anyways, is there any more that you want to talk about, Insanity, regarding donations?
No, that's it. I think what we'll try to do is there's some legal stuff that we have to abide by, where we cannot put on like a donate link. But if you're interested in donating, give us a PM, any of us, sorry, that are on this podcast, and we'll get you the information to make a donation.
And another thing to just clarify, some guys like either talking about how you can get into supporting members without actually having to donate. If you're constantly being an officer, squad leading, doing a lot of back-end work for strategy and things for your army, these things get noticed every single campaign. And as you keep doing these over multiple campaigns, you will get recognized for your efforts, and you'll get into supporting members, just like I did.
I mean, that's just one way of doing things. I mean, GC is always continuing to look at the further development itself. I mean, for instance, the PR team here, great team here to start this up, definitely has been recognised, and definitely should be. I think they're all part of the supporting members. If not, probably will be soon. Web dev team again. We're always going to expand on the web dev. If you like writing news articles, there's that as well. We can do that as well. I mean, all these things will get you noticed, and we are looking, high ups anyway, are looking at expanding supporting members and putting you in there as well. So don't forget that.
But also keep in mind that we're lazy and confused and forgetful, so if you know someone who you think really has earned a place in there, but we forgot to throw them in, you can always PM any of the execs, that includes me, Cheesy, and just give us a friendly reminder.
Well, if anyone else has got anything to say about the donation system, make it now, because otherwise we're going to move on to our next announcement.
I will say that we are technically a non-profit organisation. We don't just keep the money and go on Hawaii or go vacations to visit Shrapnel in Hawaii or whatnot. We do spend the money. We do use it to further improve the servers. Romy suggested at one point to give one of our servers a higher service CPU priority. So we always are looking at sort of trying to spend the money for the community. I think they approached the web team saying, "Can we use it? Do you need any money for tools as well?" So just give it a shout out, and we'll find the best way to use the money.
Yeah, and the more money we have, the better servers we have. So, if you guys want to contribute in that way, you're more than welcome to do so. Okay, we're going to be talking about the campaign format, actually. And so I believe Starfisher is going to kind of walk us through with that.
Sure. So for Battlefield 4, our first campaign is intended to be kind of a way for us to play through all the maps that we think we'll be using in future campaigns. It's intended to be a bit of a simplification of our previous systems, which you may recall are fairly, well, complex, risk-based. You're moving divisions around a map, you're paying attention to adjacency and all these other things. For this new campaign, we've attempted to simplify things down and make sure that we get a chance to play through all of our maps. So basically what we'll have is a 20 flag map, which we'll be treating kind of like you would a normal Battlefield map. So you'd be attacking each flag. When you take the flag, it switches to your color. If you lose a battle for a flag, your army will lose some number of tickets. The army starts with 400 tickets. If you lose a fight, you lose 5. So the campaign itself will be played out kind of like a Battlefield round.
Anything about the map?
We selected our map after putting it up for a vote and supporting members. It was a toss-up between a more traditional territory risk map that we've had in the past and a kind of one-off DEF CON map, which is based on the game DEF CON, and I highly recommend you play that game because it's awesome. There is a minor controversy over the color of the background, as it is a blue and black map, and one of our team's colors is blue. But right now it looks like the DEF CON map went out in the voting, and we're just tweaking the colors to make sure everything looks good.
You're also adjusting the flags?
That's right. Despite being in development for over 3 months, we somehow screwed up and managed to put 21 flags on the map instead of 20, so we'll be removing one of the flags and hopefully keep the map balanced.
And for those of you who haven't seen the map yet, it is smack dab right on the front page. It looks pretty cool in my opinion. It looks a little bit confusing at first, but you know, it's a little bit different than what we've traditionally had. So I'm looking forward to using this new map.
I kind of like it because it takes Conquest, which we all know and love, and expands it to the macro level. So I find it quite attractive.
Yeah, I hope everyone enjoys
Yeah, the
playing
blue-
it.
I'm looking forward to calling
Blue
hold
and black.
spawn, hold spawn, hold spawn at the end of the campaign and realizing it doesn't work.
I can't wait for you guys to try to game the campaign system and ruin everything. I'm sure it'll be a great time.
Oh man. All right. Does anyone else want to say any last words regarding the campaign system?
Well, wasn't there something with the Tuesday Black Ops battles about being able to gain or lose tickets?
That's right. In order to integrate Black Ops, which is traditionally where we play non-conquest game modes, we decided to allow teams to gain or take away additional tickets on the traditional Tuesday Black Ops day. Right now, looking at the game modes, the two we've come to a good conclusion on is that Obliteration will allow you to take tickets away from the other team, while Rush will allow you to regenerate tickets for your team. We haven't really made a decision on how we're going to integrate the other game modes yet. That's still pending some more playtime since we haven't had a really great chance of that.
Have we looked ahead to C2 to see if the campaign system that we're going to be using will evolve or be replaced?
We'll probably put that up to the supporting member group just like we did for this campaign. We'll see how people like this format. If it's a smash hit, then maybe we'll keep it. But if not, we can always go back to Risk, which I should point out has a pretty long history here at GC. It's a fairly tried and true system. So despite its shortcomings, it's been pretty durable. I'd love to see the system we come up with here, persist if it's something everyone enjoys. But I don't think we're married to it.
And it's also something that would be, in my mind, very, very easy to integrate into a Risk system. So we can kind of double up on everything and still not make it overly complicated.
That would be my vote, to not have it overly complicated, because I feel that if it's too complex, then you leave yourself open to too many loopholes and too many gray areas.
I think I kind of agree with that. I don't know how others feel about the previous campaign when we used the card system. I believe that was the last campaign we had, if I'm not mistaken. To me, personally, it was a little bit confusing and hard to keep track of, and I don't know about some of the other players, but I think a simplified version of the Risk would be, it would allow more people to get involved, I think.
There's always a tension between well, I would kind of class people maybe into two categories. There's people who actually care about the meta game, and there's people who don't. Most people kind of see it as an interesting way to organize their thoughts about the battle. They're like, why am I attacking this particular map? Oh, it's because it's on this important territory. And a lot of the side stuff is just to make the campaign a little more interesting for those people who are really into it. We've actually had people suggest we need to make it more complicated, suggest additional rules, fog of war, more complicated cards. So there's definitely a spectrum of opinion on this. I think ultimately most of the community is just looking for an excuse to play some fun Battlefield. And as long as we've provided that, we're doing a good job.
Well, I love the metagame, and it's one of the first things that really attracted me to GC was the fact that it was Risk melded with Battlefield. I just feel that with an overly complicated system, then kind of going back to your first comment, Star, about you're going to find folks that are going to try to game it and try to find loopholes where the idea is to have fun, but to also not be a dick about it.
That should be our motto. Have fun, but don't be a dick.
You can have that one for free.
Could be a motto to life. All right. And with that, we're going to continue on to the last topic of the day, which is the EA server test. We basically had the privilege of gaining a private server all to ourselves today. It was passworded, and all the GC members got on. We were able to play in an organized manner like we are used to. We had about maybe 50 people on average attend the game, and it was just an all-around good time. And I think Matsif here is going to, give us a little insight about what happened today.
Yeah, like Haruki said, we had we got access to a private server through one of our other members, Daskro. Thank you for giving us this, or informing us of the opportunity. And we had him and a couple other guys running server admin for us as we got to play a little organized Battlefield, and we had multiple people on this channel working PR, casting the game, along with Chadtopia and Brett FX, who are slightly more internet famous casting people that also casted about 2 hours of our game time today. And there was also invites out to multiple other casters from the internet who have, since the end of that battle, pledged that they would like to actually come do some of our other battles in the future. So we have a little extra PR help possibly in the future for it. But what we did today was we we got the server, and as I was talking with the admins, Hitman and Bach, two of our other users, kind of organized everybody into just randomly picked armies. We played 2 rounds of Conquest, 2 rounds of Obliteration, had a little bit of a break, reorganized the armies again to sort the numbers, and played 3 more rounds of Conquest. So we got a good 4.5 hours of good GC battles. And I know those first 2 Conquest rounds, I don't know how everybody else felt, but on the blue team, we were losing some of those rounds, came back and ended up winning. So it was a lot of back and forth on Shanghai, which was interesting, despite some people saying it got boring because of the beta. And ended up coming back by 100 ticket or more, being down a couple times. So had a lot of great fun today for not having any organized Battlefield in a few weeks.
Yeah, and I think it was really nice to see the community come together on a Sunday too, just to get their hands on organized 32 versus 32 play in Battlefield 4 beta. We definitely noticed some hiccups along the way just because it is the beta, and we had a few contention points regarding certain vehicles and whatnot. But I think, this is something that'll happen because it is a beta, and hopefully these get smoothed out once the full game comes out. But I think overall it was a really great time, and we got to see how Battlefield 4 is going to look when the full game does come out. And I'm really looking forward to it.
There was a couple other things that we wanted to try that we didn't end up getting access to, like commander mode and some server settings that we normally play with, like no 3D spotting, things of that nature that unfortunately the admins wouldn't give us access to. But overall, I mean, for just learning about the server on Wednesday and getting everything set up and ready to go in basically 2 days of hard work by myself, Starfisher, Hitman, Bach, Mr. Blue, Insanity, Cornhorn, Rob Willis, a bunch of other people, a bunch of people helped out in this, and I'm very, very appreciative of all the help that I did get while I was trying to get the servers set up and running and everything like that.
I'm here for you, Matsiv.
Yay!
Are there any moments in the game that you guys that stood out to you guys regarding Battlefield 4 and, maybe differences between Battlefield 3? Especially regarding organized play?
There is one that came on during the broadcast and we were casting, I think it was being long, how the ability for a man to swim actually underneath the water, go next to the boat, C4 it, and get away from it and blow the boat up with C4 while he's in the water. It's just amazing, especially when they were shooting at him. Loads of moments like that just completely blew my mind compared to BF3.
And I thought obliteration for, it basically turned into, I heard it described as a big rugby match around the bomb a couple times, except you got guns. So you got, 20 people shooting at 20 people and you're all just trying to move the ball forward. I thought it was very, very interesting for our Black Ops battles perspective, because Rush, this is semi-based off of, is kind of boring sometimes because there's not a lot of strategy, but with this there's a little bit more and it makes it a little more fun in my mind.
I was casting the obliteration rounds, and what I noticed from above was that one army would get the ball or the bomb, and you would see like swarms of the other army just go after it, and it was just absolutely ridiculous seeing like 20 Doritos just converge on the bomb all at once. It was kind of fun to watch.
Going in, I didn't play. I played like maybe two rounds of obliteration pubbing, and I absolutely hated it. But so I had my reservations going into today's rounds. But actually, I loved it. I loved the fact that it was organized. That we were, we all knew where the bomb was. We all knew where the bomb was going. We all knew what needed to be done, and we did it. And we didn't have to worry about someone sniping from on the rooftops. For the entire game.
And Cheesy and Shrap, I think you guys had your high command do some FCing.
We did. We for the last map or so, we split up based on our real officer corps, and I had a really good time. I got to make Duke FC for the first time in approximately 100 years, so that was just a reward in itself.
Yeah, I thought it was a miracle when I heard his voice over the channel commander. I was like, is that really Duke FCing? Not yelling at us from the TA position.
Yeah, and I got to have Sloth go ahead and dust off his FC cap, and he did a great job of it. I stepped down. I didn't take advantage of trying it out today, just because today was actually the first time they actually got the beta to launch successfully, so it's a little bit behind the curve.
Well, hopefully we don't have those kind of issues when the full game rolls out in about 2 weeks. Does anyone else want to say anything about today's experience with the server test and whatnot?
I'd like to say thanks to Matsiv for sort of spearheading this, and hopefully, with our good showing, if this opportunity comes up again, we'll be able to take advantage of it. So thank you, Matsiv, for taking the lead on this.
Oh, no
Seconded.
problem. Just doing what I can for everybody here. I personally really would like to thank Hitman and Bach, because they did most of the army organization up until those last 3 rounds when the armies kind of took over. And the PR team guys, thank you for doing your casting thing and streaming and all of that fun stuff that I don't know a lot about. And thanks to the entire community who showed up today to make this a worthwhile event instead of just having, 5v5 domination or something silly.
All right, then. Well, thank you for joining us in our 3rd global podcast. It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the battlefield. And yeah, thanks for joining us, and tune in next time.